Who I know, John, you were excited when we got word of this deal, and I'm sure you're very happy that it passed the Senate. What do you hear about prospects in the House?
Well, we're hearing that prospects are very good, that I think the expectations are that it would pass the House by Friday and then would be sent to the president's desk fairly quickly. So we're very optimistic. I think at this point in time, it's a 90+% probability that this does indeed pass. I know there was some skepticism of that last time I was on the show, but as we said, we felt pretty confident that it would pass. There's a lot of reasons to do this. It does reduce inflation, adds more energy supplies to lower power bills for really a broader set of folks, really addresses some of the disadvantaged communities in the country. And then also for the first time gives investors certainty. In my entire career, the solar industry has never had certainty of policy. We're now going to get that with 10 years plus of certainty. So this is something to be really celebrated as it hopefully passes the House here in the next couple of days.
So when we talked last, we talked about how it helps you from a government regulation perspective, because there is a part of this bill, John, explain it to us, that actually speeds up permits for investing in climate technologies like yours, right? How does that work?
Well, there's a lot of moving pieces, and not all of this bill address solar specifically, but essentially there are varying levels of investment tax credits. So it starts right now, the investment tax credit, so basically how much you can take off the cost of a solar system that would include possibly batteries, load management, EV charging, those kind of technologies. It takes about 26% off that cost. This is now going to go to 30%. However, if you're in a disadvantaged community, there's another portion of this that could be 50% off, and then with some additional domestic content. So manufacturing is a big piece of this. So it's a huge win to bring that manufacturing, this national security important industry that is solar and batteries, home to the United States. There's going to be another 10% for the domestic content there. And then there's another 10% for some other communities that are hydrocarbon based and such. So there's a lot in here that's really addressing some of the key long-term problems that we've had. Certainty of policy, not just on the tax side of things, but also on the trade side of things, the national security side of things. Bringing that industry home is going to really eliminate a lot of these tariff fights and such that have really hung over the industry for at least the last couple of years, if not over the last decade.
Yeah, it's been an issue for you. Are you part of the National Association of Manufacturers? Because we talked to Jay Timmons at the top of the hour, and they are against this bill and say that it'll raise costs for manufacturers, clearly the big ones that are going to face higher tax bills as a result. But if it boosts manufacturing in your industry in this country, I would think that might offset it.
It sure does. We are a member of the Solar Manufacturing Alliance, even though we do not manufacture, we never will manufacture, but we just view this as a national security important industry, just like the semiconductor industry and that CHIPS bill that was passed a week ago. This is just as important. Again, the semiconductor industry is our cousin industry, if you will, and bringing those jobs here will absolutely be important to the country and absolutely reduce the amount of risk. And it's something, again, we need to do as a country to address really the global energy crisis and make sure that the manufacturing and those jobs, that the technologies that go with these solar batteries and fuel cells and other technologies are actually improved and invented here in the United States versus elsewhere.
So, John, what's the timeline here? When? Because obviously your stock has been bid up a lot on news of this happening. When can you expect to see actually this to drive revenue and to drive a surge in business with the market, which is what the market and you are expecting?
Well, over the weekend, we actually started to swing into action here. Now, we've got to see the final bill. Again, that's got to pass the House and then, of course, receive the president's signature. But we're very confident that it will pass the House and very confident that the president will sign it. And so we've already begun to make some changes versus some of the changes and laws that are passed within this bill to accommodate and really open up the spigot, if you will, as far as growth here. I really feel like that this bill cements the fact that this company and the industry is going to be something that's recession-proof, that we are going to grow through this quite strongly, whatever the recession, however deep it is or isn't. but we're going to be able to grow through this in a very strong fashion. So we expect to see some additional revenue pickup as soon as later on this year, and certainly into 2023, we'll see significant growth from what we had previously expected.
John, thank you for joining us with that reaction. John Berger.